Hi. This episode is about Yellowstone. So we drove nearly 1,000 miles to get here over 2 days. We're going to show you our best clips, and at the end we'll explain a bit about how you might like to go about planning a trip here if you're interested.
So this clip's going to last about 5 minutes, so we'll be back after that. So, hope you like that about 5 minutes of our favourite places. I did label them all, and I would recommend all of those in there. We did go to a few other places I didn't film because I didn't think they added anything new, but all of those places I would recommend, and in addition 2 more with the benefit of hindsight. One of those is to take the trail up to the overlook of the Grand Prismatic Spring, up the ferry trail, I think it is, about half a mile. That's a very short trail, but I think that'll give you a really nice overview of the Grand Prismatic Springs. The other thing I would do is also hike Mount Sherman up in the northeast corner. It's about a 6-mile round trip. I think that would have been really good. We just didn't have time for it. One of the things to think about when you're planning Yellowstone is where you're going to stay, because accommodation is very expensive. Probably you'll either be staying in the north end, which is near Gardner, or in the west side, which is near West Yellowstone. Either of those are quite expensive. I think Gardner's maybe fractionally cheaper, but there's not much in it. Alternatively, you could stay a bit further afield if you want to reduce costs, because cost of accommodation really fall once you get more than about an hour drive away from the park. Of course, quid pro quo is that you have to drive about 2 or 3 hour round trip just to get to the park, so you might not want to do that because there's a lot of driving involved in a day in Yellowstone. You basically drive around a loop, getting out, seeing things, walking a bit, and get back in the car and drive again. So add 3 hour round trip to get there, and that's a lot of driving in a day. So it's just trade-offs, whatever you prefer. I would say that in terms of how much time you need, a bare minimum of 2 days, 2 full days in Yellowstone, but really 3 preferably, and particularly if you want to do any hiking at all, then I think you need 3 days to get a serious hike in. You'll be doing a bit of walking, about up to 1 kilometre at each stop, but any serious hiking, you just won't really have the time in 2 days to see everything and do hiking. Useful thing to know, given you'll be driving, is that there are garages in West Yellowstone. The price of fuel is about the cheapest you're going to find anywhere around there anyhow, and they also serve great coffee for very little money, so it's great just to stop off, top up fuel as you go in, and also get coffee if that's your thing. In terms of the layout of the park, basically it's a north loop and a south loop, and most of the main attractions are on the south loop. So that's probably where you'd be, if you're doing a 2-day itinerary, you're probably looking about a day and a half in the south, but do make sure you see the Mammoth Hot Springs, which is on the northern loop. If you're doing 3 days, then it's probably more like 2 full days on the south loop and maybe a full day on the northern loop, something like that. Anyway, I hope you find some of that helpful, and I'll leave it there, and we'll see you in episode 6, where we'll be covering our visit to Grand Teton National Park and also Salt Lake City. So see you then. Bye.